have these surveys to hand out. There's 5 variations. You don't need to give them back to me. Zach.
Oh.
Normally I have a lot of tiny pencils, but I forgot them. So you have to use your own writing utensils, which is... I'm sorry. Okay. Don't get too distracted by that right now. Hello. 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 I do not consent to acting as if things are normal. I do not consent to living inside a war machine. I do not consent to the evils of the world. I do not consent to the evils of the world. I will not pretend that I consent to the evils of the world. I will not cry and then get over the evils of the world. Hello. Hello. Hello and welcome to the Unreality Theater. Please adjust your moral apparatus accordingly. Here, you will decipher your losses. Your dissonance is rewarded. Your alienation calibrated to match the current climate. Hello. You had been convinced there are modes of love you cannot access, and modes of death you must accept. Hello. How are you gonna kill all this time? I picture myself a salted fish stacked against other salted fish, somewhere dry. All my body is a long, outward stretch to meet your empty. No, all my body is the ringing of a bell, rippling outward towards the edge of every, spreading thinner, thinner, till... Sometimes I feel like I'm built to circle around death. A string pinned to the bottom of my foot, pinky toe, or looped around my nipple, tied around my tooth, and somewhere on the other end of the wire is the death nail, pinned into the ground through the heart of a sparrow, myself walking circles around the post like a donkey that does not realize the rope is shortening, that it is not walking forwards, but around and around, twirling the length until it knocks up against the nail, like a girl playing with her hair and resting her index at the skull. But I had a dream about a ribbon dance. The wire tied to ankle flew around me, someone cutting the air into harmonious shapes. At one point, I stuck my leg straight up, leaned all the way back, wire taut, and it held me, that post somewhere out of sight, bending toward me ever slightly. I heard about a room in New York City where you can pay up to $300 an hour for a simulated experience of your room flooding during a torrential downpour. You could frantically scramble with a group of up to 5 friends to gather important papers, books, and photos off the floor, trying to save the evidence of your life, scooping water into buckets and pouring it into the toilet as fast as possible. It's some sort of excursion into inconvenience, like a game. My coworker told me that this was the only thing that could take his mind off the terrible death that haunts him. I told him it might make sense to become a plumber. When I was a child, our basement used to flood whenever it rained. It stopped happening when I got older, I'm not sure why. Similar to how I used to open oranges and see those tiny half-formed one inside. Baby oranges. I would revere these, very sacred. But now I never really see those. Maybe my coworker could go back in time and scoop my basement and marry my mother, and we would all have some different outcome. But perhaps this would only pivot our current deaths into some other deaths. Sorry. Okay. I'm ready now. I'm ready to begin the effort of my life. I've done everything necessary to clear away. My brain is all ordered and the timing is perfect, yes. Let's start now. I'm so excited, I can't wait. 3, 2, 1. Whee! Hello. In the summer, the flies ate all my children. No, that wasn't me. That was someone I met, right? She said, in the summer, the flies ate all my children, and I said, I'm right here. I thought I was right here. Only maybe I wasn't. Maybe I was feasted, or mouth open, covered in the blood, right? Are you awake? Can you hear me? You, lying next to me in the heat, silent, spine facing. I'm afraid I'll give you nightmares if I touch your back. Afraid if I don't, they'll come to you uninterrupted. My fears even threaten to become less real these days, which is a new tactic to dull me from dreaming. My fears threaten to become less real because all the real fear presents itself openly these days. So, all those imagined ones give up the charade, saying take it or leave it or something. In each interaction, I choose whether or not to instill fear, love, or shame. I heard my roommate thinks the chair I brought home is ugly. I knew they wouldn't like it. I just wanted them to tell me. I don't even like it. I just wanted to talk about something. What about saving the world? What about the ugly chair? At least they've agreed to share the grape juice with me. We each take one sip out of the bottle each day, but they don't like me to watch. I can measure their thirst when I see how much remains, and I feel close to them this way. I vacuumed the rug. I have to twist the faucet of the sink like I'm breaking its neck quick and hard to the left to make sure it doesn't leak. The baby birds are choosing to live or die this week. Or maybe some get sorted into a live body, and others get sorted into a die body. What's the nature versus nurture on that? What's the early worm ratio? Clung to the railing, like I'm dangling off a tooth at the mouth of the house, in the shadowed burn of sunset's throat. From my porch, perverse lookout, I watched the last sparrow, shaking its wings like it wants to dance too, but just doesn't get the music. Sparrow, do you believe in determinism or free will or something else? Are you meant to get flattened? Can you choose to fly? Will your death be others' motivation? I watch an old ghost of myself go to pick the bird up and save it, but I don't actually move. Me now knows I have to leave it where it is, to look up at the others on the wire and strain towards something. And it gets too dark to see what happens. But I say that just to end the story. There's actually light pollution in Philadelphia, so I saw the whole thing. I went to get fast food, but when I tried to order, the machine kept saying, if my death is not your death, whose is it? If your children are not my children, who are they? Fuck, I don't know anymore, I said. Sometimes when I sneeze, my nipples get hard. I love being sexy. Sometimes I don't. I love how the African penguin male and females look the same and people have to take blood samples to determine their gender. But the penguins just know who they love without having to do any of that. and they mate for life, and I would be a really sexy penguin. Really, really, really sexy. Wait. I'm detecting something. I'm detecting something in the room with us. Is it coming from you? Is it coming from me? Is it coming for you? Or for me? Don't act like I'm crazy. Sometimes when I'm hungry, my stomach vibrates like my phone is ringing, and I get genuinely confused. Is that what they mean by fusing man and machine? Or do they mean how sometimes I dream of texting, or how I have voicemails from dead people saved in my evil smartphone, my extended cortex, Bluetooth hippocampus? You can buy extra storage for your grief if the cloud gets full up. 4:44 in the afternoon, I am stuck in traffic on the way to a Lord of the Rings birthday party. I'm sweating so much I had to take off my cloak. The air conditioner doesn't work in my car, so I arrive at every place extremely sweaty this time of year. I tried to listen to independent radio, but they were playing an EDM remix of Alan Watts. The MC occasionally cut in with, "Life is just a ride. Everything is interconnected. You can change it anytime you want." But that really only applies to a certain sect of people who have enough free time to ponder their variables without having to take shelter from bombs or something, right? Like, I went fishing the other day, and I was told when I felt that tug, I pulled, and I broke the skin of the water right open, and out tumbled a fish, stuck to my line. Really intimate, though we barely knew each other. And the fish says, "I'm a fish, I want to live, I will not be offended when I die. But don't leave me out here for long, please." He looked me in the eye and said, "People aren't built for this scale of death, and there's a privilege in being able to grieve one person at a time. It should be a right." And then an even bigger fish jumped out and swallowed him whole. It just works that way out there. Or maybe I brought him home and my roommate cooked him up. Either one, I can't remember. On the phone, Grandma says, "Most of my dreams are so dumb. There was a dump truck in our yard and it was taking away all the garbage. Why dream that? And there were two babies fighting over who gets to cry." She hangs up and a man on the street tells me if he were 50 years younger, he would kiss me from my toes all the way up to my third eye and everywhere in between. Something about dead kids that my mom told me was that they don't really get to pick about being your dead kids. They're your holy dead kids, and they just want to play in the mud or get scared and have you care. And you get to have them be your holy dead kids. Like you turn them into some fire in your heart or something. So much theory about the dead kids and what makes it worse or better, or even worse. And I don't know, my roommate won't stop vacuuming the fridge, and I think there's just bigger fish to fry. 4 o'clock in the morning, the sun sits like an armadillo, and I rest somewhere under a tree where ants line up to look at me. They aren't the kind that bite. Somewhere a rooster calls, and I remember I was supposed to take out the trash, but then I remember that my mother died and I make no trash of my own. I don't eat, I don't use anything, I only sit under the tree. But the sun means it must not be 4. So what was 4? And is it the moon then? The sky could tell me, but I can't discern whether it's dark or light. Well, never mind that. What I meant to say was, and close your eyes for this, we are sitting face to face, but we cannot see each other's face because our eyes are closed. And we are breathing, and we are in love. And in this love, we can think of something and concentrate very hard on it. And the other person, after some time, will see what the other is thinking. And you say to me, "A pink horse running in a green, green field." And I say, "The end of all time forever." And we kiss because we are so in love. say, "I wish you had a motorcycle so I could ride on the back." You'd hold on to me and we would go fast and it would feel so good. We would see beautiful things and pull over to look at them, and we wouldn't push our luck. We would love the days and quit while we were ahead. No more anyone getting hurt. Perfect tragic timing be gone. We sell the motorcycle, not because we got hurt or old or anything, we just do. Don't worry, things are going to be different now. These are my baby's first words. You regard me as a blackened window, seasons passing through daylight's transparency. At night my eyes pooled open, your love an endless rope you pull up an endless well. House dark, windows black again, no longer seeing the tree in the yard, seeing only you, searching for it. Hungry, wah wah, cat, cat. Reddit, am I the asshole? So my kid isn't talking to me now because I mentioned to them how when I die, or even right now, it might be a good idea to start archiving my memory in a way that makes the living I did make more sense. And I just want to sort of set that in motion because now they're saying things like, I only had a child to be my librarian and organize my iCloud, and I think it's really unfair because after the death of my mother, I really scrambled to piece everything together, so I feel like I'm sort of just getting ahead on that. Thoughts? What was I saying? I'm just calculating some losses. I heard a couple talking and one of them said, I wish I was just a horse. They don't have to worry. And the other one of them said, you know, you would probably be a depressing horse. Can you love for nothing? Can you love for nothing in return? The dream I keep having is all about long pubes, conditioning them, making them supple, and knowing that the general public has no idea at all. I go to work and go home to sit by the candles and work on the conditioning of my long pubic hair as some sort of spiritual practice, indicative of my connection to the dead, dying, and God. I tell my roommate about the dream and she asks me to respect her boundaries. My grandpa's brother used to say, "Let me be frank for a moment." And then he'd just stand there. His name was Frank, so it was a killer joke, his only and best. When he died, he didn't say anything, at least that's what I heard. He wasn't that fun or kind, and he never even made that joke. I just said that to add character. All he did that I remember was call my grandpa every day to talk about other people. And the phone rings much less now, so that's one of the main symptoms. I cleaned the toilet seat at the bar with soap and water for you. My friend told me that she pissed right on it. She said, that's the difference between me and you. I guess so. Can you love for nothing? Can you love for nothing in return? In my dream, I got my shirt signed by Linkin Park, but when I handed it to them, it was a Tool shirt, and the guy was like, oh, it's a Tool shirt. My grandma told me everyone is disappointed in her because she quit smoking cigarettes for a month and then started again. Dear Grandma, I am not disappointed in you. Sorry if people made you feel bad. I feel like you've felt bad enough times already. When does everything turn to symbols? The whole world representing itself, nothing itself. I cannot change the past, only ruin the future. I cannot change the past, only ruin the future. I cannot change the past, only ruin the future. I cannot change the past, only ruin the future. I cannot change the past, only ruin the future. I cannot change the past, only ruin the future. I cannot change the past, only ruin the future. I cannot change the past, only ruin the future. Hello. Please get ready for the performance of your lifetime. Go on. Go do it. Thank you.